that the first thing that you saw in the magazine?
Oh, come on, guys.
We were talking about the order.
This is the interrogation room where Sherri Papini finally sat down with federal agents. Before this tape ends, she'll say 7 words that change the entire room. The strangest moment comes before DNA. She pleaded guilty to 1 count of mail fraud and 1 count of making false statements. At one point, a detective jokes about a magazine detail, and everyone at the table laughs. The laugh proves nothing. But in this room, at this moment, it is strange enough to stop on.
Talk to us. Yeah. As always, your presence here is voluntary.
Yeah.
You can go at any time, and all we want is truthful statements because it's a crime to lie to.
That warning at the top isn't scene setting. It's the exact charge she pleads guilty to later. A false statements count means lying to a federal agent on the record during an interview. And this is that interview. The count in her plea ties directly back to what gets said in this room today. So hold on to that warning. It's not background noise. It's the first half of a sentence that doesn't finish until the very end of this tape, when the court record spells out exactly what the lie cost her. No causation, just chronology. The warning goes on tape first, the plea comes years later.
So there's always been DNA out there, and we've done testing after testing. We've gone out to like the Parabon, which is a private company who does all like the genetics, and we've just hit wall after wall after wall. But recently, we found a familia DNA hit.
2 Hispanic women abducted her at gunpoint, she said, held her against her will. That was the story on November 2nd, 2016, when Sherri Papini vanished near Redding. Searches ran across Shasta County and into several states. Hundreds of tips came in. 22 days later, she turned up near Woodland with bindings, injuries, and a brand on her shoulder. Federal filings would eventually say none of it happened that way, that she'd spent those 22 days by choice with a former boyfriend. That false account didn't just fool the public. It pulled real investigators, real searchers, and real public fear toward 2 women who never existed for years, while the true record sat untouched. The 2 women were never real. But for years, the search for them was. That's the gap this tape sits inside. A stranger. Abduction story on one side, a documented voluntary absence on the other. Almost 4 years after she came home, this is the room where that record finally gets set against the story she told. They've just handed her a family tree, not the man inside it. Detectives already have a name. She's been given a shape instead, 1 branch at a time. That's the imbalance running the whole room. They know exactly who they're talking about, and she doesn't yet. The name itself is still 40 minutes away. That gap, what she doesn't have yet, is the whole engine of this interview.
And we spoke with you about, and you showed us this picture of the table. Do you remember that, Sherri?
Yes, I do.
And so when we were trolling through this, Facebook page, we saw just the edge of that table.
Yeah.
Denise got it, in fact.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Denise said, "Hey, Peter, look at this table." And I was like, "Oh wait, you're right."
Yeah.
And it has the wood paneling. So we're like, well, where was that photo taken, right? And so we're trying to figure that out.
So, okay.
So that's led us obviously now to obviously this Facebook page has a person. It's got like people tagged into it, so it has, so Peter has a...
But that's still a valid memory, right? Is that this was the table?
Yeah.
A table like this was the table you were on when you were branded?
And we've been talking about that a lot because so many memories are so faded now.
It's been a long time.
It's been a really long time. So, like, details and things like that, we did the best that we could to take notes on it and all of that, but a lot of it's really...
First comparison, and it's a clean one. Ask the broad question, does she remember this table? And the answer's instant, yes I do. Ask the specific question, was this the table where she was branded? And certainty disappears into so many memories are so faded now. It's been a really long time. Same table, less than a minute apart. One question gets a flat, yes. The other gets a hedge. That gap, The words, not her face, is the point.
Like details and things like that. We did the best that we could to take notes on it and all of that, but a lot of it's really...
Take a look at this six-pack and see if you recognize anybody. See these 6 photos. You don't feel like you have to provide an answer. There's no right or wrong answer. Just let us know if you see anybody in this photo that you do recognize, and if you do, we'll talk about how. Okay. Keith, if you could just wait not to say anything until that way we don't influence.
I don't think so.
So nobody jumps out?
I mean, this one a little bit, but
Can you say this one a little bit? Which number is it?
number 3.
And when you're ready, I'll show you another
Nothing's
one.
really like,
There's nothing in there that says, oh yeah, that's her.
no.
Watch Keith here. He's engaged enough, trying hard enough to help, that a detective has to tell him directly not to say anything during the lineup. That's not a throwaway instruction. It says something about the room itself. Keith knows this story well enough to answer for her, and that's exactly the problem. They need her independent memory on tape, not his reminder of what she's already told him. So they silence the one person most willing to help her.
And again, Keith, if you can just...
Same thing.
Do you have a tissue? I'm sorry. It's hard because the other photos are distracting me. Can you give me another piece of paper, if you don't mind?
Another piece?
Yeah, I want to
Just like this
cover...
one upside down?
Yes. I want to look at them one by one.
Sure.
It's easier. It's a little distracting. There we go. Thank you. She's got that
Here's the method. 1 photograph at a time. No forced identification, no leading. That's deliberate. They're not asking her to guess blind. They're testing her account against places and objects they already hold in evidence. And they control the order on purpose. Show everything at once and you get a reaction to the pile. Show one image, wait, show the next, and you get her answer to that specific thing. Clean, isolated, comparable to what the record already says.
Cool. Another way to...
Just another... And obviously, because you don't know the people. If you knew the people, then we can show pictures, but...
Let me try that trick with this one. That's a little easier. Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, it makes it harder when you're looking at like a crowd of...
Like Peter said, you know, different color hair and dyes and all that kind of stuff.
I know, just... like I'm trying not to get my hopes up. I would say right here is what's drawing me to this photo.
So on photo number 5,
Yeah.
Marty, this is the first one we showed you. This is the second one we showed you. So on 6-bet number 2,
But like you were saying, if someone were to lose weight, that would change.
you're drawn to photo number 5?
Yes,
Features of photo number 5?
correct.
And again, just for the record and for when you go back, like number 1 is, when you say 3 is similar, she's similar to the younger female that we've always described in everything.
This part right here doesn't really match what I'm remembering, but
The
yes.
hairline doesn't match?
Smaller one, older one.
And just because it's been a long time, for the record, so.
The younger one's the one that let me go
Okay.
and was the nicer of the two.
Okay.
The older one was really abusive and really mean and is the one that did all the really terrible things.
Okay. And that's my memory too,
Mhm.
just trying to reference it for our notes and. when we go
Yeah,
back.
so we don't have to say, oh, she was referring to the second interview back in
Yes.
2017.
Hard. I've given them nicknames in my head,
What are your nicknames for them?
but they're really.
Watch the difference between the real evidence and the familiar account. Show her an actual photograph from this house, and the answers come out in fragments, halting, stop, and start, effortful. But ask about the two women from the original story, and it comes back whole. The younger one is the one that let me go, the nicer of the two. The older one was really mean, did all the really terrible things. No hesitation, full sentences. That's the split worth sitting with. Real evidence produces struggle. The old, familiar account, the one repeated for years, produces fluency. She's worked all the way through this photo lineup without ever choosing either woman in the actual pictures.
I don't think anyone in this one really.
So for six-pack number 3, nobody.
I
Really?
don't think so.
So we have
That's
more
fine.
pictures. That's not the end of the road. So like I said, with the female DNA, obviously we saw that first picture that has the wood paneling. And
Yes.
it's got the table, right? So that's ultimately what led us to those pictures, which then snowballed us down the road that we're eventually at and where we are.
So were
today.
you able to find like where that house is?
Yes.
And what?
So-
Tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
That's where I was going next.
She wants the next answer and pushes for it. Tell me more. Tell me more. The reply is simple. I'm going to get to that. Then the detective returns to his order. Whatever his reason, he is not handing over the next piece yet. The pace of this room remains with the detectives.
You remember this
I
chart?
mean,
Yes, I just found the original one of that I was trying to explain.
it's a little bit different, but it's pretty, excuse my language, it's pretty fucking similar. But it's different.
What's different or what's
Yeah.
the same?
It's hard, there's a lot of shit in the photos, but
Well, let's focus on
Yeah.
let's focus on those two because there's less color. I've walked the streets with my wife in Mexico and we went
Yeah.
through every shop because of the color changes. No, nothing, not because there was anything new in it, just the color.
Now, can I ask a question? Is this from the same house as that?
We don't
We'll get to
oh,
that.
Okay.
What do you see in this photo?
Listen to this answer. Negotiate with itself in real time. A little bit different. Then, with profanity, pretty fucking similar. Then, but it's different. 3 positions inside one answer. Meanwhile, Keith's already trying to jump ahead of the test, asking whether the photos match one house, and they pull him back. He's not wrong to wonder. He's just early.
I just found the original one of that I was trying to explain.
it's a little bit different, but it's pretty, excuse my language, it's pretty fucking similar. But
You said it looks very similar. What's
I mean,
similar?
this is what I'm remembering, that feeling, you know, grabbing it and feeling that feeling. But
Mhm.
this part is different. This part is different. That definitely
So
doesn't.
you're saying
look
this
the
metal
same.
part, it looks the same as what you remember, but this piece right here.
This part doesn't look the same, right?
And what was the difference in it?
That there was a lot more. There was a lot more there.
Like bulkier?
Yes,
Reinforced
thank
or-
you.
I don't think the pictures really show.
If I
Maybe look at this
is it more metal or
So
like
the-
beefier, like
If you look
Stronger.
at this side of it a little bit more.
It's basically the width of a plywood, a sheet of plywood. It's
oh
like a piece of plywood almost.
It didn't look like that.
yeah, it looks blown up, so it makes it look like it's that thick, but it's about like 3/4
Yeah,
inch somewhere.
it's probably like half inch. It's
Half
also
inch.
so.
Okay, yeah, this looks big the way the picture.
Yeah, it didn't look like that.
Okay, but similar. Besides the metal part, anything else similar?
I mean, the metal part?
What about one shelf versus two shelves?
Oh. I think there was 2 shelves, but now I'm having trouble remembering. I think there was 2. I'm pretty sure there was 2. Maybe there was 2? I don't know. I'm focusing on this part right now, I'm sorry. I can't remember something like that being there. And I don't remember,
That's
Remember
fine.
it going all the way up to the window is what I'm having trouble remembering.
The window in that photo has holes along the edges.
And there's holes.
You know
I
what you
just
mean
don't-
by that, right?
yeah, hold on a second
Yeah,
here.
we're going fast. Sorry.
We don't mean to overwhelm you. We're just trying to draw your attention to different things that maybe we noted. And we
I'm
want to know
trying
how
to
that
think
compares with
about
what you
The window
remember.
compared to the wood paneling.
Because it getting just, I mean, that's probably not important.
I mean, I don't know if I'm supposed to talk or not, but the obvious is those are screw holes, right? Is that what you're getting at?
They're just holes.
holes, screw, nail, something.
Okay. For boards.
Keith names it first. Those are screw holes, right? She downgrades it on the spot. They're just holes. Same item, 2 different words. And word choice matters here, because screw holes ties this room to a real, built structure, while just holes doesn't tie it to anything. Watch what happens next. The detectives don't let the downgrade stand. They confirm it themselves on tape that Keith was right. Not me reading into anything, them. The vocabulary shrinks exactly at the moment. Specificity would nail the story to an actual house.
Talking about, but the obvious is those are screw holes, right? Is that what you're getting at?
They're just holes.
Holes, screw, nail, something.
Okay. For boards.
Out of the bathroom.
Yes, well,
Let's talk about the description, best description, and then we'll start showing some pictures.
there's door, toilet, sink, tub. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
So you walk in
layout
the
that
door,
doesn't-
first there's a toilet.
Yes,
On the
Do you
right
know
or
which
left
side?
if I'm,
She's the
It's
worst
been
in
a
the
while.
world with, just in general.
I am, I don't know.
But whatever, you walk in the door, on one left or right, you have a toilet, then,
I want to say it's on the left. I'm sorry.
that's fine.
I want to say toilet on the left.
Okay, so maybe a toilet on the left,
Okay, hold on. Toilet on the side.
toilet on the side, and then what's
Toilet
next?
on the side. Sink, tub.
Okay,
And that's a unique thing about bathrooms.
Yes.
We all
Yep.
agree with
hard
that.
to change where
Yeah.
Said
that
that
sewer will go,
day
right?
one,
It takes some expense to do that.
Yes, yes.
I think it's the first
Yeah.
one, not the second.
I keep turning it upside down. Let's get it all up. It's gonna turn it upside down. All right, now I'm ready.
Well, that's just pleasant.
Don't pay attention to that magazine.
I mean,
Is that the first thing that you
Yeah.
saw in the magazine?
oh, come on, guys.
We were talking about the order.
on there
We
or
were talking
something.
about the order. Plus, the magazine's not open, so
I
you're
mean,
good.
this doesn't look like the bathroom to me, but the order is, yes, this is a type of order, but this is not what it looked like.
She gets the order exactly right. Door, toilet, sink, tub. Then she says the room in the photograph isn't the room she remembers. Both of those answers have to stand together. The order stays, the room gets rejected. And that magazine joke from the top of this tape, the one that got the whole table laughing. This is where it actually happened. Inside this same fixture order exchange, a detective spots a magazine detail in the photograph, makes the joke, and the room laughs at the magazine, not at anything else. It proves nothing. It's just strange, sitting this close to a room she says never existed, the way she described it. And that split, right order, wrong room, isn't only tape. It shows up in the federal complaint's own account of this exact interview. What you just watched on screen became charging document language.
This is the type of order, but this is not what it looked like to me.
And
So the order is correct, but you don't recognize the bathroom as being what you recall. Do you remember there was a detail about the shower that you provided previously? About the type of something on the tile or something like that? Do you remember
That
any
there
of
was
those?
tile on the tub, there was a crack.
Where was the crack? It's not a memory test. If you don't remember, that's fine. But we remembered that detail when we took some of these photos, and we were just trying.
not sure if I'm supposed to. Can I talk or not?
Sure. Unless she tells you to shush.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm trying to like get myself there and I
Just
don't.
as a
I don't
reminder, I do remember when we went to my grandma's house,
Mhm.
you didn't like her tile because it reminded you of that. I think I sent. him
You sent us
some
a picture.
Yes.
That's why I would say we.
That's what I just want to remind her, because if you think of that, because I can't even think of what her tile looks like right now, but I do remember you didn't like that at all. But I can't remember the crack. I remember you told me a crack, but I don't remember where you told me.
I
Or
don't.
else I'd bring it up. But
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so nervous of like saying something that's not gonna be right, so I just can't remember. I don't
Like
know.
I said in the beginning.
Listen to what she says here, in her own words. I don't know. I'm so nervous of saying something that's not going to be right, I just can't remember. That sentence tells you exactly what the pressure in this room has become. It's not about finding two missing women anymore. That search is over. The pressure now is getting the details right, matching an account to evidence that already exists. She names that pressure herself, out loud, before anyone else has to.
In this photo. But this is the same bathroom we showed you, the
This is
original,
the
the same one with the
charming magazine on the.
Sports Illustrated,
Great.
yes.
You get that in reach.
I don't know.
Okay, so nothing jumps out as you at that photo?
We're not trying to overwhelm you. Obviously, it's been a long road, and here we are.
If we could go back to the closet really quick though, I remember when you were talking about being chained into the closet and trying to figure out a way to get loose. You talked about working on a screw, right?
Uh-huh.
And what happened to that screw when you were done with it?
I dug a hole in the wall and poked it into the wall.
Okay. Because this is an interesting photo as well.
Is this in the closet?
That's in the closet.
No, it was drywall.
It was into the drywall.
It was into drywall, but
Listen to this once. It was drywall. It was into the drywall. It was into drywall. 3 times. That's not scripted for you. That's the actual count, back to back, over one disputed detail.
You get that in reach.
I don't know.
Okay, so nothing jumps out as you at that photo?
We're not trying to overwhelm you. Obviously, we found the house. We found who was involved. We talked to who was involved. We talked to family who knows that you were there, and talked to a couple people talked to one guy who did see you during this event. Unfortunately, there's a lot of truths. There's a lot of things that were said that we have always confirmed. That we've always said. There's a lot of truths, and then there's some unknowns. Like one of the simple ones, like, well, this description of the bathroom is just weird. Like that was like an argument in all of our offices where we were sitting there like this part's weird. But then we find a house with it. Then the all thread through the thing, that's just weird.
It's unique to this place. Like, that's a pretty custom, you can't just go out to IKEA and buy a closet that looks like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So once we have all those things and we start talking to the person who lives here, who had lived there, who still lives there, start talking to his family and starting that whole investigation, peeling one thing back after another, doing the same thing we've done for the last 4 years. It led us to a specific person, but not a female. It led us to the car that picked you up, but not an SUV. So there's lots of different aspects that are truths and falsehoods. And we're to the point now that nobody would have ever imagined that this would have blown up the way that it did. So I've been a cop 15 years. I've never seen the media scale that this garnered pretty quickly. How long have you been in law enforcement now?
12 years in the Bureau.
So, like, of the minds, Brian, who's been around 20 plus years, people who've been in my office like 25, 30 plus years, the media attention that this got out was insane. So I think with that being said, some choices and some decisions ultimately changed the original path of what happened.
Here's the turn. We found the house. We found who was involved. We talked to who was involved. We talked to family who knows that you were there. That's not a hint. That's detectives telling her, on tape, that the search phase is over. They're not looking for the house anymore. They found it. And they start dismantling the old story piece by piece. The evidence points to a specific person, not a female. The pickup vehicle was a car, not an SUV. 2 categories, both flipped, and neither one matches the story she's been telling for years. They're not testing anymore. They're correcting.
For the last 4 years, it led us to a specific person, but not a female. It led us to the car that picked you up, but not an SUV. So there's lots of different aspects, because the DNA came back, like I said, to a specific person. That specific person told us very specific things. His family then told us specific things. So if we can talk with Keith or without Keith here, what would you like? It's completely up to you. And like I've always said, I wanted you to have a voice. I wanted you to make decisions. I wanted you to control certain aspects. I think I told you that on the first interview we ever had. I never want to bully you. I never want you to believe I'm bullying you. I want you to take back control. That's one of those things. This is that take back control of the interview, which I promised you to do the first time we talked, if you remember that. Actually, we were in Mount Shasta, so the second time we talked.
It's been a long road, Sherri, but we just want to talk to you. We can have Keith step out if that's going to make you more comfortable.
But it's up to you.
Do you want to step out or do you want to stay?
Obviously, I want to stay.
Or we can.
It's completely up to you. And that's why I'm not even looking at Keith. I don't care about your opinion, Keith. What we want out of this is the truth. So we can get ahead of some things, so we can help control things, how crazy things got, so the unknown of if I say certain things, what's Keith's reaction? Because you don't know what I'm going to say, right? So I don't know Keith's reaction either. So if I say other things like, oh, Keith won't worry about that, he can come back in. But I'd rather give you the opportunity to hear things, be able to judge it, because at everything, right, I'm saying things to you that are making you nervous. It's making Keith nervous. It's changing the element, right? We changed the tone of the interview.
You can feel it already in the room from the way you walked in to what you're feeling right now.
Well, I mean, law enforcement has always been an issue, so.
Okay.
So if you want Keith to leave, I'll ask Keith nicely to leave. If you don't want Keith to leave, then he can sit here
Say,
and
let's
listen
press
to
on.
you.
and we'll press on.
And we'll move on to the next stages. But I want to give you that opportunity first. But obviously everything's fearful. If you tell him to leave and what I'm going to say is benign, then we can pull him back in the room. Like, hey, Keith, come back in. This is what we talked about. So there, that fear of him wigging out. Why is she trying to hide something from me? There is none. If you can help me.
Yeah, there's no trick here. We're just trying to make sure that
Yeah,
you're comfortable to talk, because you can't be to talk to us truthfully.
Here's why detectives can sit across from her and say a specific person with total calm. Because by the time this interview happens, they're not guessing, they're reading from a file. The federal complaint says phone contact between her and a former boyfriend started before she disappeared. Not after, before. 2 prepaid phones get tied to this case, one to her, one to him. The complaint says those phones exchange messages on a timeline, investigators compared with the rest of the record. Then there is the evidence that opened this interview. Male DNA recovered from her clothing. The official record says that DNA was connected to the former boyfriend, while phone evidence supported the account he gave investigators. The family tree on the table is how detectives approach that connection without giving her the name. They have the connection. She has only the diagram. The record also includes a rental car, mileage, and travel evidence tied to the date she was gone. None of those items has to carry the case alone. The point is that the dates, phones, DNA, rental, and witness account are being checked against one another. The charging document filed later says she spent roughly 22 days in Costa Mesa and arranged that stay herself, of her own accord. Not held, not restrained. Arranged. It also says a cousin saw her during that period without restraints. Put it together and you get the documented shape of the case before anyone in this room says a single name. Contact before the disappearance. 2 prepaid phones exchanging messages, the DNA connection, rental and travel records, 22 days arranged by choice, and a witness who saw her unrestrained. That paper trail explains why the questions can stay simple. Every piece of it comes from the federal complaint, or the information filed in this case, not from our reading of her face, and not from guesswork about the room.
I could tell you the puzzle that makes it all come together, or I can tell the puzzle that crashes everything apart. I don't know what that piece is, honestly. All I know is facts. All I know is certain specific items that will either tear the castle down or is going to build the castle up. And I don't want to tear the castle down and not give you the ability to then fix your own castle. Even if it's just a small thing here or it's the whole castle, I want you to be able to choose that. So we can step out of the room, let you guys talk, because I don't know what information I'm going to do, if it's life-changing news or if it's, oh yeah, everything's fine. I just don't know what it is. Usually, right, we showed the pictures because everybody's invested in this picture. Keith do the drawings. Keith's the one who gave this stuff. So Keith has always been a part of your memory for small details. And that's why Keith's been in here this whole time. And that's why...
He makes me feel safe anyway.
Absolutely. Well, if he makes you feel safe too, we can continue on.
Keith did the drawings. Keith gave them the details. That's not a passing mention. Years after the disappearance, detectives are still working with rooms, layouts, and specifics he helped supply from the account he was given. Those drawings are part of what now gets compared with real rooms and real photographs on the table. Whatever comes next, remember that starting point. The husband didn't sit on the sidelines. He helped provide raw material this investigation was built from, and he is sitting beside her while detectives test it.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
You need to stop waiting around and tell me the truth. I don't like to look at that. Yeah, whatever you're doing, it doesn't mean it's tough to me. Okay, but the second I know about what's going on, so you need to explain to me. I don't give a shit about that. I don't want them to find her. I don't.
don't want to press charges on her. I don't want to find her.
Explain to me right now that you prescribed this.
I don't know. I don't want them to find her. You're not listening
But
to
tell
me.
me why.
Because she saved my life.
But tell me, honey, there's obviously something going on. There's obviously something going on. Tell me this is going to be really bad if you don't tell me.
Look at how you're being right now.
I am.
I'm fucking with you.
No, I'm not saying
Right
anything.
now. I don't want them to find her. I don't want to press charges, and I don't want to go down that road.
But you tell her?
I don't want to go down that road. I don't
Tell
want to
me why.
arrest her because she saved my life, and she's the reason why I get to hold my children every single day.
In this
I don't want to get into the light to the police. I don't want them to
But when you
fucking
murdered
find her.
What did you lie on her?
I don't want them to arrest her
Why?
because she saved my life.
So you don't press charge. They still need to find out who it is. No matter what happens, do you think this just sits here? This comes out and they found the house. It's over. Whatever happened is over. And it doesn't matter what you say. The girl's gonna get in trouble. So, you need to tell them the truth. Everyone the truth. If you don't want to press charges, then that's up to you. You're not making sense to me. To the point where I'm getting scared now. So you need to tell me what's going on immediately. Yeah. Or I can talk to him and tell him what you're thinking.
The detectives leave. It's just the two of them at the table. Keith leans across and says one thing. Stop what you're doing and tell me the truth. That's not a detective's question. That's her husband's. The answer stays inside the same story. She says she doesn't want anyone found, doesn't want charges pressed, and credits the woman she says saved her life. With no investigator in the room, the account doesn't change. That's the content of the exchange. Nothing more needs adding to it.
Yeah. Or I can talk to him and tell him what you're thinking. Do you want me in the room or not?
And obviously,
Hopefully you've had a chance to chat briefly.
the fears,
Later, maybe. But I'd rather you
Nothing-
just answer the question.
nothing that I'll say to you.
Yeah, I feel like you're in the driver's seat right now.
I think it's easier to control things once you know what the information is, to be honest with you, Sherri. So I can tell you what it is, say what it is when Keith leaves, and then you can say yes or no, whether or not you want him in there for the rest of it.
For right now, he's just, am I in the room or am I out of the room? So that's the...
And I'm to the point where if you want him here, we'll just go on with the conversation.
As long as you're not interrupting or
Yeah.
causing any
I'll
disturbance.
stay over here.
But if he steps out, I can say a name, and then you can choose whether you want him in here for the rest of it or not. It's completely up to you. Or I can just continue on, and again, like I said, I wanted you to always have control over certain aspects of stuff. We're not to a point where anybody's going to jail yet. We're not to a point of anything like that. We're just still at the talking stage. We're at the control stage.
You seem scared, Sherri.
No, it's not scared.
What is it? When you don't answer, Sherri, it makes me concerned because I want to hear what your answers are, and I want to be able to understand.
The only way to control things is for us to know.
I don't want you to find her.
We're not gonna find her.
She's the reason why I get to see my children every day.
I agree, but we're not gonna find her.
She's the reason.
Those were the 7 words. Nearly 40 minutes into this room, after detectives and Keith keep returning to the same evidence, she says them out loud, a direct request that investigators not find the woman in her account. The words from the top of this tape, the ones I told you, would change the room. You just heard them in full. The 7 words came before investigators named the DNA match. You've heard who she said she didn't want found. Now investigators are going to name the DNA match.
They'll rock into the water and ruffle up the pond if we want to now. Again, this is your last opportunity. This is the last time if you want to do this alone or with Keith. Keith's been through this also on a different level. So I'm ready I'm ready to move on and throw the dart and throw the rock and see what happens with the water. But Sherri, look at me. What do you want?
I don't want her to get in trouble.
She's not going to get in trouble. So the DNA came back to James Reyes.
The DNA that was on you belongs to James Reyes.
The picture can I get the picture? The picture of the table is.
Then the sequence changes. Investigators stop asking her to compare details and start explaining their evidence directly. For nearly 40 minutes, every question tested her account against a picture, a fixture, a phrase. Not anymore. Now they're the ones talking, laying out what they say, the DNA, the phones, and the records show about James Reyes. Not asking her to identify the story anymore, but explaining the account their evidence supports.
We've been on a polygraph. We talked to everybody around him. We have the rental agreements, phone rental, the car rental agreements. We have everything that says that he said he told the truth.
That's James' brother, deceased, Nick.
So everything, you've told us so many truths in this situation. The reason why you can describe the room is because you stayed in the room in the dark for hours, for days on end. The reason why you lost so much weight is because you stopped eating. The reason why you got a rash on your arm was because you cleaned his house. The reason why the brand is because he went to the store, bought the branding tools, and branded you. The reason why your nose was broke is because of a hockey stick. I know all of those things, and I know there was no sex. I know all of that because he passed a polygraph test. That said, it's not an abduction. She asked me to come get her.
No.
I rented a car.
No.
I drove up and picked her up. He passed the polygraph test, Sherri.
If that's not what happened, what did happen, Sherri?
I don't know. No, there's no way it's James. There's no way. There's no
The
way.
DNA doesn't lie.
His DNA
His
is
DNA was on you.
his
There's
brother.
no way.
Robert saw you in the house while you were down there. While everything
Who's
spun out of
Robert?
control, his cousin. Why everything ran out of control on the initial.
There's no way.
It's 100% Robert's or James's DNA.
We even collected blonde hairs from the room.
There's no way it's James. There's no way.
Tell me that it is.
Why are you saying it's not James? Why are you saying it's not?
He loves me.
What's up?
We were friends.
Mhm.
There's no way.
And he came and got you because you asked him.
No.
When was the last time you had contact?
For 40 minutes, they let her explain the rooms. Now they explain the rooms back to her. The investigator lists it out, piece by piece. The room, because she says she stayed there. The weight loss, because she stopped eating. The rash, because she cleaned the house. Even the branding detail. All supplied, they say, by James Reyes himself. Her answer, over and over, is 3 words. There's no way. Count them as words on tape. That's all they are here. Words repeated as the account is handed back to her item by item, this time from their side of the table.
And when we talked to him, confronted him with the DNA,
He told us what happened.
he 100% told us what happened.
And gave us details that nobody else would know.
And we can call him and we can all talk about it. But ultimately, can you look at me for a second? Ultimately, we put him on a polygraph like we did Keith. Keith was inconclusive, to be honest with you, on whether he was involved or not. But 100% James was telling the truth. The questions were, did Sherri ask you to come pick her up? He answered yes. That was the truth on a polygraph. We asked him if the 2 of you ever had sex. The answer was no.
During 2016.
During 2016, during the abduction, he said no. That was the truth. We asked him if you asked him to brand you. The answer was yes. And he passed the polygraph on all of those questions. He took us to the stores where he bought the chain. We talked to the friend who rented the car. The car that he rented drove over 900 miles in a day on the drop-off point.
Sherri, I know this is a lot to take in. But it's not like we don't know the answers to these questions.
And the fear of Keith's reaction, obviously now he's in the room, the fear of media, the fear of all of these things are coming forward, they're in front of you now. The only way to get a hold of it, the only way for everybody to come together and heal, the whole community has to heal, is for us to be able to say, when we presented all of the evidence, all of the stuff that came forward, you told us the truth. You told us what happened. Because you did go in a dark room, that's true. You did lay in the back seat of a car, that's true. You did lose weight, you were branded, your hair was cut. You did have bruises all over. But how those bruises got there are because you did it and James did some. The reason why your nose got broke is because you held the hockey stick to your face and he forced it into your nose. The reason why the brand is in a straight line is because he did it. He described exactly where it was. He told us exactly how he did it, where he did it, how he did it. Only you and I and maybe 5 other people know where the brand was. He told me immediately. Robert told friends and family you were there.
What comes next is the investigator's account of another interview, one that happened somewhere else, with someone else. He says James Reyes answered polygraph questions about the pickup, about sex, about the branding. That's his claim on this tape right now. It is not an outside result we've independently verified. Same with the injuries, the room, the weight loss, the rash, the marks. He says James supplied those details. Those are statements on the tape, not something we've confirmed ourselves. Keep those 2 claims separate from everything else in this room, because everything else, the phone records, the prepaid phones, the rental car, the cell data, the record already laid out for you, comes from documents this program has already shown you, sourced and attributed. The polygraph and the injury account don't have that same paper behind them here. They're what an investigator says. Another man said, relayed secondhand, in a room she's sitting in. Treat it accordingly. Real leverage in this interrogation, but not proof on its own, and not something this tape lets us confirm independently.
What are you thinking, Sherri?
That doesn't make any sense.
Why doesn't it make sense?
What actions doesn't make sense?
A lot of it doesn't make sense.
Can we talk about those?
No.
James' DNA was confirmed on your clothing. The 2 of you haven't seen each other in over a decade. If you told me that you haven't been in his room, you haven't had contact with him in over 10 years. However,
You described his bedroom to a T.
and the DNA on you was still a vibrant piece of DNA. 10-year-old DNA dies. The DNA that was there specifically was non-seminal fluid, was seminal fractions. You got that from his house somewhere. So whether it was the bed that you were sleeping on, whether it was the couch, whether it was anywhere in there. When somebody would come to the door and be around the property, you'd call James, James would call Robert, which is those 2 doors down. Robert would run people off the property. Robert told me all of that. James told me everything. So the only person that hasn't started telling us certain facts, there are certain facts that are true. When we were sitting there talking to James, there were so many truths that were a part of your story that it's hard to decipher the lies until we put it all together. Until he says, hey, how did you pick her up? I opened up the passenger side seat, I opened the door, you jumped in the back seat. Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? I don't know.
Ask her what doesn't make sense about this, and the answer stays broad, general, without a specific item attached. Ask the investigators the same question, in effect, and they answer with particulars, dates, phones, a rental record, a name attached to DNA. That's the pattern in this stretch. Her language stays wide while theirs keeps narrowing to specifics. Same topic, 2 different levels of detail.
So are you calling James a liar? Are we not believing James what he told me?
No.
I know you're scared.
Cannot believe that it is James.
I can't believe James told us the truth. That's what I can't believe. He passed a polygraph, Sherri.
So did Keith.
No, he didn't. He was inconclusive. And he was involved.
So James is involved, but I don't...
James picked you up. You called James to pick you up. You mailed him a letter with your address. You used a burner phone to call another burner phone for James to come and get you.
You're saying since you're married you haven't called James?
No, I have called James.
Because earlier you said you had contacted James. Because phone records show that you do. You did. The phones don't lie, the DNA doesn't lie, Sherri.
His polygraph doesn't lie.
So you can go a couple different directions now.
His story.
I've already told you lying to me is a crime. So you walk out the store telling lies, and that's a crime.
I think we need my lawyer. This isn't making any sense.
Well, it's not making sense, Sherri. The parts that don't make sense.
That it's James.
No, the parts that don't make sense are that you're accusing 2 females who abducted you when it was James. The part that you were branded, James did it. He told me.
At one point here she says, I think we need my lawyer. This isn't making any sense. If you're waiting for this to be the moment the interview stops, it isn't. The detective just asks a follow-up. What's not making sense, Sherri? And she answers it, that it's James. The tape keeps rolling. This isn't the definitive stop that comes later, and it looks different from this. What's worth noting here is something else. The federal complaint has its own summary of this exact room, its own closing characterization of how this interview ended. We'll compare that with the tape when the tape actually gets there.
No.
Who would sit there and say,
No.
I branded Sherri on her right shoulder blade? Who does that?
And told us how and showed us the letters that matched the brand.
Took us to the store and pointed out the letters. The problem is today's the case is resolved. Everything, the only things, well, how do we prove that you're telling us the truth? How do we prove that the truth is that 2 women took you, but I'm telling you it's a male? The fact that you were branded is true. The small fact is that you willingly laid down and did it versus being tied to a table. So we could do the polygraph and try to, whatever parts you're confused about.
Can you go? Is that what you said?
Can I talk to you outside real quick? Or late?
That's fine. The fears of how out of control everything got, the fear of all these things.
The rune changes here. Detectives take Keith outside, and for this stretch, It's Sherri alone with investigators. No husband at the table. The tape doesn't explain why, and neither will I. What matters is just that the room is different now. Fewer people, same evidence, same questions, continuing without him.
Is the reality. And the only people that can slow the train down is you and I. You put yourself through this so when you came forward you can tell certain stories. You missed the... You couldn't control the DNA that we found. You couldn't control when we talked to James, he'd tell us what happened. The story always was hard for anybody to understand. The tragedy that the community went through, the events that unfolded, the fear now of what it all means. But there's without a doubt, James's DNA was on you. The likelihood of it being an ex-boyfriend is a problem.
No.
It's astronomical. Then you add in, when we go talk to people who never even heard of us, when we say, hey, what's going on here, they knew that you were at the house. All of them never came forward.
No.
No what? Do you want to call James? This was a long road. I had no idea what it was going to take me. But right now, continuing and saying that 2 girls took you is a lie to Peter. It's just a lie. Because we were able to prove it with evidence. With a rental car agreement, person driving to 1,000 miles in a day, the DNA on you, and him passing a polygraph, it's three legs to a table that can stand.
Kate's gonna wait out there. Now's your opportunity.
Investigators call a rental record, fuel receipts, mileage, phone records, and the polygraph result the legs of the case. But they do not all have the same footing. The rental, fuel, mileage, and phone records appear in the federal complaint. The polygraph is different. It is an investigator's account of a separate interview, with no independent result shown here. Same list, 2 levels of support. Keep that distinction as the evidence keeps moving across the table.
Based on your reaction previously, what you're telling me is you did not call James and ask him to come get you? Is that what you're saying? Because if that's what you're saying, I have to understand that. There are things he says that we can corroborate, and whatever you say, we're going to try and corroborate. But right now, I'm not sure what you're saying. You're just saying you can't believe it's him. And you're saying you don't understand. But there are details he provided. We know you were in his house. We collected hairs from that bedroom. That's going to have DNA on it.
The folder's on the table now, pushed toward her. The invitation is open. Answer or don't. But the evidence isn't waiting in a drawer anymore.
He admitted to a felony, you can put him in prison over.
Well, it doesn't jive. So now it's your opportunity to say, were there issues between you and Keith? Is that why you needed to leave? I mean, we read your text message. We're already aware of some issues, but enlighten us if that's the case. If there was a valid reason for you to leave, let me know what that was.
James said you had your jaw broken by him, and that's why he came and got you, because you were in an abusive relationship.
My husband.
So, were you in an abusive relationship with him? Have you told other people in your life that, like China, that Keith has abused you in the past when that wasn't true? China told me that day 2, where there was an incident at a party that you got hurt playing, like, I don't know, Wii or Pictionary or something, and then you told other friends that Keith hurt you. When there was witnesses at the party that said you just that you got hurt during a party. But then you go tell James that you were being hurt, you were being abused, and you couldn't come forward because Keith has friends in law enforcement. If all of is that true? Has Keith ever been abusive towards you?
We are not talking about my husband. I love my husband.
So why leave? Is James lying to us?
I don't want to leave my husband. I want to be with my children. I would never leave my children.
But
You didn't leave them permanently. You came back to them. Ultimately,
No.
you left them every day at daycare, so it's not like, hey. And James talked about that decision when you were driving down, how hard that was. You left at 10 o'clock knowing that Keith was gonna get home late, knowing you were gonna leave the kids at daycare, and how much that tore you up on the drive down. You told us that. Then things got out of
James and
control.
I talked about that. We did talk about that.
In this stretch, investigators told her they'd heard something else entirely, a version involving her husband, involving abuse, a version she has never told on this tape. That's the investigator's framing, stated to her directly. And it's the only place in this program that thread appears. It doesn't get revisited. Alongside it, detectives say James didn't just hand them a general timeline. He gave them specific, private-seeming details about her drive to daycare that morning. The detective says James supplied that account. That's his claim on this tape, not an outside fact we're independently confirming here.
Always talking to other guys. Oh my God, why did I do that?
like when you were in Eureka, you give them a call. Just start chatting with them. Told them some of your problems. And when did it turn from just chatting to this plan to get away?
No.
You were getting a hold of Donovan Minsky the night before.
Why did I do that?
We're trying to understand why you did that too.
We're trying to understand all of it.
I don't know how this is happening because I was doing that.
Doing
This
what?
is an awful choice. Talking to other guys that has got me here.
So what aspect are you saying? Like, how does talking to other people got you here? We've gotten
I
over,
love my husband. And I made mistakes and I talked to other men that I shouldn't have.
but we took it a step farther this time.
This is a little different than just chatting with them. I appreciate you talking and being forthright about the other guys you were talking to. When did it turn into something more? Obviously, you never would have imagined that CNN in 2020 and Good Morning America would care about you wanting to leave Keith or wanting to teach him a lesson
No.
or wanting to get him in line.
No, I was just talking to James and I don't want to leave my husband.
Right,
I
but
love
how-
my husband.
how are you
I'm
talking-
just talking to James.
How are you talking to James?
I don't want to leave my
How-
husband.
Sure. How were you talking to James? On your cell phone or another cell phone?
My work cell phone. I don't want to leave my husband. I don't want to leave my husband.
This was more
What's
like
your-
just a flirt.
What's your work cell phone number?
Remember?
What's that?
I don't remember.
How long were you guys talking?
I don't know.
Why would he rent a car and come and get you?
I don't know.
Well, if you don't know that, why would you get in the car and go down to Costa Mesa?
Those are all things we can verify, Sherri. The car rental, the fuel, the mileage, the calls from you to him, the burner phone, all that can be proven.
Horrible.
Strip the slang away, and one point matters. A paper record links 2 prepaid phones to Papini and the former boyfriend, while she is insisting he had nothing to do with it. The investigator calls them burner phones. The complaint ties 2 prepaid phones to her and the former boyfriend and says those phones exchange messages. Same devices, different words. That's the documentary point behind the confrontation you've just heard.
And yet he stayed quiet until now.
And the only reason why he talked is because we have his DNA. That's the only reason why we got to his door. That's the only thing that led us to his closet. That's the only thing that led us to the bathroom. That's goofy. And that's the only reason why he started talking to us. Once he showed us the bedroom and we started pointing out the holes in the wall, like, you used to have this boarded up, huh? And he said, yeah.
Sherri asked me to put boards up.
Nobody's ever going to be able to answer why decisions were made.
Except for James. I don't understand.
You don't understand what? What parts are you not
Sherri.
understanding?
He even showed us, Sherri, he even showed us the letters that were used for the brand and the numbers. I have pictures of them right here. This is
What
the
is
set
that?
that was used.
What did the Bible verse mean to you?
How would he have known that?
Why did you pick that Bible verse? Did James pick the Bible verse?
Here's the whole case laid out in one sentence. And it's the detective's sentence, not mine. DNA to his door to the closet to the bathroom. Watch that chain do its work. And then a smaller contradiction, entirely her own words. She credits a Bible verse in this room to James, the same man she is, in the very same conversation, still insisting was never there. 2 of her own sentences sitting side by side. One says he was present enough to choose a verse. The other says he was never in the house at all.
Why did you ask James to come get you? You asked Donovan the night before to come meet up with you. Everything happened at once. You were asking
That's
two.
a stupid thing to do.
You
The
asked
thing about it
two.
is we were able to prove that Donovan never came up here. But now we can prove that James did. We have records to prove it.
I don't understand.
Although you might not think it was a good idea now, 2020 hindsight. At the time, why did you ask him to come pick you up? Was that an I don't know? What's that?
Can't be James.
It is James. We can call
Sherri,
it.
the DNA doesn't lie. His DNA was on you. Your DNA is going to be in that room.
1 in septillion that it was James. I don't even know how many zeros septillion is, to be honest with you.
That's why despite your description of how far you might have gone in the car, we already went down there. We knocked on his door. We took those pictures. He understood that the DNA didn't lie, so he came clean. Now it's your chance to do the same. And if you don't, you're going to be shaking your head later and say, I should have told him what happened.
Don't talk to me like that.
Real tone shift here, worth just letting play. Don't talk to me like that. Like what? That's the exact exchange. I'm not going to explain it away, and I'm not going to guess at what's behind it. Just 2 short lines, back to back, on tape.
I was talking to you. It's my fault.
What's that?
This is all my fault. I was talking to so many guys.
Well, we know
Such a stupid thing to do.
Yeah, but then how did we get to Costa Rica? Or sorry, Costa Mesa? Wherever I was. How did we get to LA? There's a big jump and a leap from talking to men to getting in a car with somebody. But that getting into a car with somebody is somebody you had a relationship with. He told us about the abortion. He told us about your guys' relationship. He told us about things that I don't know if you've ever told anybody about. He told us so many things. And he did it all for you. Nobody else. He got nothing out of this.
And you're welcome to go home, Sherri. But right now is your opportunity to tell us the truth. And
Can't be.
are you saying that it was two females that picked you up? What's that? Every time I ask that question, it seems like you don't answer it.
This can't be happening.
We sat in a room, you drew out two people in a sketch, Sherri. Are those two people the ones that took you? It's a yes or no?
I don't know.
Well, you were pretty clear when I asked you earlier, what did the younger one do? You said the younger one pointed a gun at you.
She was there.
She wasn't. It was just James.
Not me.
James was 2 hours late.
We have the rental records from 2016 for the vehicle that he used.
Why?
Because we went and looked for it, because he told me.
Because I was talking to him.
That's clear. You were talking to him. I don't.
This is my fault because I was talking to him. This can't.
We have to control what we can control.
No.
We're to the point, the younger female that you've always described, is she the one that pointed a gun at you? Is that true or not?
Oh, no.
You do know, you told me earlier. So earlier today, when we were talking, I asked you what did the younger one do? You told me the younger one pointed a gun at you and let you go. That's what you said.
She let me go.
And you let yourself go. You let yourself out of the back seat. Never even said bye to James. Never a thank you, never a that.
Ask her something broad. Whose fault is this? And she'll take it, in general terms. Ask something exact. A yes or no about who picked her up. And the answer moves away from the binary. It happens enough times that the detective names the pattern out loud. Every time he asks that specific question, he says, she doesn't answer it. I don't have to label it. The detective has already described what keeps happening, on the record, in this room.
You keep saying that it can't be him. The DNA doesn't lie. It's him.
You were talking to
And
him.
now's the opportunity for you to tell us.
I was talking to him. I was talking to him.
And we've
I
talked
started
about...
talking again when his brother died.
Okay.
You started
That makes
talking
sense.
again what?
When her brother died.
Oh, sure.
And that makes sense. The problem we have is the actions after the talking, after the flirting. There was a big difference between talking on the phone and getting in a car with somebody. So are you saying that James got two females to kidnap you? Is that what you're trying to say?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? So if James's DNA is on
I
you,
don't know.
are you, so either we're still saying the younger girl pointed a gun at you, or we're saying we don't know. You've already told me that today, that a younger girl pointed a gun at you.
You said you didn't want her to get caught. So are we still talking that the female let you go?
That's where we're at. And I don't know doesn't add clarity on simple questions, Sherri. A very easy question. Did James pick you up? You told me earlier that a girl pointed a gun at you. Is that detail, which one's true? It's only one. Only one of those are true, Sherri. You've told both of them. I've told one, you've told the other.
The detective now puts two positions beside each other. The younger woman pointed a gun, or we don't know. He says she gave him the gun claim earlier that same day. Same topic, later in the same room, with a different level of certainty. That's the kind of shift this program keeps tracking, sentence by sentence, not face by face. One question remains. If the former boyfriend was involved, where did the two alleged abductors fit? The tape then reaches a final yes or no question. Let it play without interpretation.
You told me earlier that a girl pointed a gun at you. Is that detail, which one's true? It's only one. Only one of those are true, Sherri. You've told both of them. I've told one, you've told the other. Who picked you up? Was it James or was it a female that pointed a gun at you? Can you please answer that? You're shaking your head no.
I will not get. I'm not talking to you about that. I'm not going to get anybody in trouble. I've told you before, I do not want anyone to get in trouble.
Well, you're going to get yourself in trouble at this point. That's where we're at. So either James.
I didn't do anything wrong.
I know you didn't do anything wrong. Right now, you're not telling the truth, which is doing something wrong. That's where we're at. James put himself on a polygraph. Talked to FBI agents. He talked with Peter and I for 6 hours.
I don't understand.
He told us everything, Sherri. You told us so many truths because you put yourself through.
They're not true.
They were true. You're
But
absolutely
you
right.
don't want to talk about the women.
So, but the one.
You're saying that it's James.
No, I'm
We're
not.
saying James's DNA was on you. We know you were in that room at his house.
Then who
So the
is
question
the
is-
woman? Then who is the woman?
Well,
Okay.
the
That's why
woman-
we're asking you. It
Did
wasn't
the
the
woman
woman.
point a gun at you and put you in the car? Yes or no? Is that where we're at?
Don't remember.
You don't remember if a female pointed a gun at you and put you in the car? Is that what you're saying, Sherri?
I've always told you I don't remember getting in the car. I've always told you I don't remember getting in the car.
Correct. But did a female point a gun at you? Yes or no?
Remember?
Yes or no? It's not a remember thing. You've already told me that today.
You know who she is. I know you do.
No, it was always
You
Keith.
know who she is.
Yeah,
You know
the
you
lady
do.
we showed you is another raise. No, I know James opened the door for you. Whether you want to forget how you got in the car, I'm okay with that. But you've already established today. That's why I asked you today. What did the younger girl do? You said she let me go and she pointed a gun at me. We didn't talk about how you got in the car. Right now I'm asking you. Did a younger female point a gun at you?
The federal complaint has its own closing line on this exact interview. It says that at no point did she disavow her account, and at no point did she admit the kidnapping was fabricated. That's the government's own characterization of the room you just watched, on the page, in its own words, not something added here. What follows next on tape is the actual end of the interview, and it doesn't look like a document summary.
You yes or no?
I am done speaking to you until I talk to a lawyer. I will not arrest her. I am with my children because of her.
I'm disappointed, Sherri.
I don't understand. There is no way that James, he loves me.
You did love me. I agree.
Sherri, if you want to talk to your attorney, that's fine. We can wrap this up. If you want to keep talking to us, that's a separate story, but you said you wanted to talk to your attorney, so like I said from the beginning, you're free to go and you can go. I would ask you one more question, just for your own welfare. Do you feel like harming yourself?
Welfare.
Do you feel like harming yourself?
No, I just hug my children and go home.
Okay.
The interview ended without an arrest, and Sherri Papini was allowed to leave. DOJ says federal authorities arrested her on March 3, 2022, about 18 months later. That's chronology, not causation. This interview didn't produce that arrest by itself, and nothing here claims it did. But the tape isn't finished with this room yet. There's more to come from one of the people who was sitting in it, the man whose drawings and details helped investigators work from the account they had been given. Keith's arc is right there in what this tape already showed you, and none of it needs adding to. He supplied the drawings and the details for years, building a case out of a story he believed. Detectives told him more than once to stay quiet and let her answer alone. Alone with her, with no investigators in the room, he asked for the truth directly. Then he was taken outside, and the room continued without him. Now, after Sherri has already left, he comes back and sits down in the chair she was just sitting in, asking the detectives to tell him whether any of it ever happened.
Alright. stayed around the whole time.
Well, there's not, it's still, we can't tell you a lot, honestly. I don't know what, I told Kelly to let you know some of the details, some of the stuff going out.
Can we, I mean, from my side, I feel like, my whole world's gonna flip upside down again. Why is that? Why am I always getting held out of things? Like, why can't you just hit me with it?
I did, I told you.
I know, yeah.
Because this happened Monday.
No, well, you're saying you can't tell me all this stuff.
It's still ongoing. That's the way it is.
Obviously, can you help me, throw me a bone and then go, I mean, she made it up, is that where we're going, right? Or is she trying to come up with a whole nother?
We're not gonna give you any additional details. Obviously, you heard the questions, so you can
Yeah.
read through some of those and understand. You've seen some of the photos.
Yeah.
So you know some of the
Well,
investigative work
obviously you
we've
saw me, I
done.
was like, yeah, we found him.
And we did.
Yeah,
But you can also notice your reaction compared to her reaction.
yeah, no, 100%. That's what I'm saying from my side, but now you're telling me, okay, you guys can go home now. Well, do you think I want her anywhere around my kids or around me?
One of the investigators makes a comparison here. He tells Keith to notice his own reaction against hers. That's the investigator's observation, offered as a comparison, not a verdict this program is adopting. What Keith says next doesn't need any help standing on its own. He asks plainly whether anyone thinks he wants this woman anywhere near his kids, near him, at all. That question is his. Nothing added.
Get into that, but I would say, obviously, we are concerned about the welfare. We don't want any kind of domestic dispute between you two. We also don't want...
So give me a quick not legal advice, give me from a sheriff. If I don't want her in my house tonight, what options do I have?
You'd have to get restraining orders. You'd have to get the legal stuff.
Jesus. I'm gonna tell her she has to go to her sister's or something. I mean, she's not going to my house tonight, and I gotta call. The next stage of this, please give me the courtesy of telling me when you're gonna announce this so I cannot be at my home. and
Probably
make sure-
tonight.
Oh, god damn, you're going quick.
We have
Well,
to
I thought you said
control
it's ongoing now.
Well,
We have to,
we gotta talk about that, but...
it's gonna happen.
The paper trail goes somewhere else too. California's Victim Compensation Board. In applications and requests made over the life of this case, the same account was submitted in writing. 2 suspects, handguns, 22 days held captive, escape attempts. That story, under her name, went to a state program created to reimburse victims of crimes. According to DOJ, Papini's requests caused approximately 35 California victim compensation, payments totaling more than $30,000. The payments included therapy and ambulance-related expenses tied to the kidnapping claim. Those are therapy and ambulance costs paid against an account the federal case later established was false. This isn't the interrogation room anymore. It's the same account moving through formal paperwork and producing actual payments. The room argued about words. The applications moved dollars. The information filed after her arrest charged 34 counts of mail fraud and 1 count of making false statements. In her plea agreement, Papini admitted guilt to 1 count of mail fraud and 1 count of making false statements. The false statements count concerned what she told federal agents during this August 2020 interview. The information lists the charges. The plea agreement records the narrower admission. A plea is not a trial verdict. The false statements count is tied to this room and to answers later identified in the signed federal plea agreement. On September 19, 2022, a federal judge sentenced her to 18 months in prison, followed by 36 months of supervised release. The court ordered $309,902 in restitution to California's Victim Compensation Board, the Social Security Administration, the Shasta County Sheriff's Office, and the FBI. This case was built by the FBI and the Shasta County Sheriff's Office, with help from California's Department of Justice and the California Highway Patrol. Real investigative hours, across real agencies, spent on a story that turned out to be false. Now go back to the very first thing you heard on this tape, a warning spoken aloud before a single question was asked. The warning at the start of the tape wasn't hypothetical. It described exactly the crime she would later plead guilty to. The interview began with a warning and ended without an arrest. The later court record settled what the room didn't. The kidnapping account was false, and Papini pleaded guilty to mail fraud and making false statements. That's the record. What's left on this tape is the room itself, emptying out. If this case held your attention, subscribe to Unsolved Chronicles X for more cases broken down from the tape itself. I am Carson Morgan. Stay curious. Stay safe.
Talk to us.
Yeah.
As always, your presence here is voluntary.
Yeah.
You can go at any time, and all we want is truthful statements because it's a crime to lie to.
This,
Is there anything you can tell me next? I thought you said you were going to tell me something when I came back in. I'm like,
the person that we talked to down there is absolutely involved.
no, I know
Absolutely
that.
everything.
I know that.
So
I remember
that's
giving
what
you guys
I'm
that guy's number, so that, I thought.
So that's where we're at.
And then what did she say?
We're just gonna ask you to be patient, let it play out. I know it's gonna be really hard, but it
I know,
also
right?
makes
But
it easier for
little
you.
kids do, though.
Well, the little kids aren't gonna ask you as much as the media will,
No, I
and the
understand
family
that.
members, your own family members.
No,
And
I
you can look at
understand
them with a straight face and say, look, they're not telling me yet.
But like, even Kettle right now, I was like, well, shoot, you guys can give her a ride in the house. I don't even want her in my car right now.
I don't know what Kel said. I was
And that's what he told me.
figured out with Kel.
I'm assuming we could arrange for her to get there if that's what has to happen.
Because I need to make some phone. If you're gonna release it that soon, I'd like to call him.
I don't know what's gonna happen. I can call you today. I'm gonna go from this to another meeting, and that meeting's gonna lead to another meeting, and that meeting's gonna lead to another meeting, and then we'll be figuring stuff out.
Are you saying you want us to help you with transport for her?
I
To get it back
think
to the
so. I
house?
don't think I mean, you got to give me a couple. I thought you guys were gonna call me back in here with her. So,
Well, she has to leave, so
oh,
she's free to leave if she wants.
so I think we'll talk, and she's probably not gonna talk in here, so we'll probably go out to the car, and then I'll be like, I'm not going anywhere with you until.
If you guys want to type out in the car and then come back up and tell us if you need assistance, let us know.
You have my
I
number.
appreciate that. I think I'm handling pretty good. I didn't punch any walls or nothing.
We appreciate that.
I'm in shock. Okay. All right. Thank you.
I don't want you to find her.
We're not gonna find her.